All right, we can start.
So just a brief introduction. This is Valentin, and he's going to talk about Argentinian Spanish. So enjoy.
Okay, so hello everybody. How are you doing? Good. Okay. So my topic today is Argentine Spanish, and the real name is Castellano Rioplatense, and what makes it so special compared to other dialects in Spain and Latin America. So before talking about any Spanish, I would like to talk about myself, where I'm from, my story and my background. So I was born to a Russian mother and Ukrainian father in Taraz, which is Central Asia. And my mother tongue is Russian, my first language. When I was 3 to 4 years old, I started learning Ukrainian in the kindergarten. And when I was 5 to 11, my parents moved to Argentina. This is actually a connection, as you can see, between me and Argentina. So I spent 6 years there, and I learned Spanish at elementary school for 6 years. And also I took some classes of Latin. So I came to Canada here when I was 11, and my high school was in French, and eventually my college level was in English, and basically university, everything is in English. So I also took classes of Italian, a couple of classes of Italian here at Concordia University. That's where I study. And later on, I pursued my studies in Portuguese, basically self-studies, books, and music. And in conclusion, I speak in total 7 languages. 5 of them are fluent: Russian, Ukrainian, Spanish, French, English. And Portuguese, Italian, I don't really consider myself fluent, but I can have a really decent conversation in those languages. So for those who are going to ask, where is Taraz? Because some people don't even know where is Central Asia. So this is the city where I was born. This little city in the middle of nowhere, right at the border between Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, and Kazakhstan, which is basically Central Asia. It's a very small city, approximately 200,000 people, but it has a really rich history. That's where the Silk Road used to go by, and it's at least 2,000 years old. So small city, but with a rich history. So a lot of people ask me, how do you learn all those languages? Where are you from? Because I can speak many languages, and some people they get really curious and they start asking, Val, how did you manage to learn all those languages? So eventually, people ask me, how do you learn those languages? What were you doing in all those countries? Basically, I lived in them, which is basically a whole other level of experience. And the most common question that I get asked is, what are your parents doing? Because, so obviously, since I'm Russian, a lot of people ask me, are you a KGB spy? Or I'm not a KGB spy. So nothing has to do with politics and everything. And I'm not a diplomat too. My parents are not diplomats. They're just regular people. We just moved a lot, and this is how I ended up. So this is my journey. As you can see, this is where I start. Number 1, I started in Central Asia, and then I moved with my parents to Ukraine. It's over here. And then I end up here in Buenos Aires in Argentina, so a whole another continent. And this is where I am now, talking to you guys, Montreal. So as you can see, the total distance covered is around 25,000 kilometers, so it's quite a world tour I did. And people ask me, basically now I'm going to answer you how I managed to learn all those languages. First of all, it's life. I had to, because I traveled with my parents, and once you live in those countries, you're forced, you have to learn those languages. So life, I think life is the biggest teacher. And exposure to many cultures, languages since early age. So Ukrainian, Russian, Spanish, English, and French. And also, once you travel the world, you understand the world better. You see its complexity, its variety, its differences. And the most important thing that I realized is that the world is not black and white as many people see it. Some politicians see the world as black and white, but it is a very complex entity. I can say it's 50 shades. I'll say it's 50 shades of gray. It's very, 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 very complex. So you're gonna ask me why Argentina? Well, because I came there when I was 5 years old. And I was raised there until I was 11. It's a country that represents a very important period in my life. basically, all my entire childhood I spent in Argentina, and I feel very comfortable in that country. So Spanish was actually my first foreign language because, well, my dad is Ukrainian, so it doesn't really count because just like a heritage, but Spanish was truly my first foreign language. And also, I'm a big football fan, so sorry for those guys who cheer for Brazil, but Argentina is the best. So football in Argentina is a religion, and it is very, very serious. And to that point that 60 people die per year due to football-related violence. But yeah, it's a religion, yeah. So people ask, who are Argentines? Who are they? Italians, French, German? They really don't have a clear definition. But so I would like to start my exposition, my presentation, with a quote from a very famous Mexican author. His name is Carlos Fuentes, who said that Mexicans are the descendants of the Aztecs, Peruvians are the descendants of the Incas, and Argentines are the descendants of ships, basically. So mostly this means that Argentines are all immigrants, because a lot of Argentines they came from the ships, they came from Italy, from France, from all over the world. So Argentina is a nation of immigrants, like USA, Canada, Australia, and many other countries. There were three main waves of immigration in Argentina. So the first one started in 1870 to 1890. So mainly Spanish, Basque, Galician, northern Italy, people, rich Italians, because the north of Italy was very rich. So it's all bankers, financial institutions. Other countries like France and many other countries from Europe. The second wave of immigration started between the two world wars, World War I and World War II. So mostly again Spain, now southern Italy, Portugal, and in small numbers from Eastern Europe, Ukraine, Czechoslovakia, Russia, Poland, and also a very big Jewish immigration from Russia, Poland in the 1910s. And later, after when the World War II ended, a lot of Germans, mostly regular people, also bad people like Nazis, who are hiding in Argentina. Very famous Nazi Adolf Eichmann was captured in Argentina because he was hiding there in 1962. And the final wave of immigration was in the 1990s, which is the recent one. And it's from the neighboring countries, Bolivia, Paraguay, Peru, and other countries from South America like Colombia and even Mexico. So this is a graph that represents the European immigration to Argentina by nationality. So you can see there are two main groups that just outclass and they beat all the other groups. So the first one is the blue, it's Italian. And there's a lot of Italians in Argentina. And the second group, of course, it's the Spanish, people from Spain. So as you can see, there are Italians everywhere, basically. And they conducted a research in 1996. And the population of Argentines with partial or full Italian descent numbered 15.8 million when Argentina's population was around 34.5 million. So if you make your math, 45.5 of the population, basically half of the population have Italian descent, which is a lot. Basically half of the country have some kind of Italian blood or is related to Italy. And basically, yeah, Italians formed the backbone of today's Argentine society. It has transformed the country in a very, very different way. And yeah, Argentine culture has significant connection to Italian culture in terms of language, which I'm going to talk later on, cuisine, pizza, pasta, and traditions. So where do those Italians come from? So, for example, here in Montreal, the Italian community, most of them come from the south, regions like Calabria, Sicily. But in Argentina, it is the complete opposite. Most of the Italians come from the north. So, Italian immigration to South America, including Argentina, Brazil, and Uruguay. As you can see, the north is almost half, like it's more than half, 53.7. Then you have the south, 32%, and the center, 14.5. So unlike the US, as I said before, which is 84%. In the US and Canada, it's 84% that come from the south. So now I'm going to just show you famous Argentinians who made history. So the first one, Ernesto Che Guevara. A lot of you may think that he's Cuban, but actually not. He was born in Argentina, and then later on he moved on to Cuba. But yeah, he was a doctor who was born in Rosario, and yeah, later he pursued his revolutionary journey. Then you may know Pope Francis. He's from Argentina too. Also, actually from Italian descent. His name is Jose Maria Bergoglio. So yeah, it's an Italian family name. This is Carlos Gardel, founder of the tango, the father of the modern tango. This is Jorge Luis Borges, very famous author, Nobel Prize of Literature in 1980. Famous football players like Diego Maradona that changed the sports. Lionel Messi, who is actually the best football player in the world, maybe ever. This is Evita Perón, very famous feminist of the 20th century, who helped a lot of people, and this is the actual president of Argentina, who I think is the most normal guy right now compared to what happened in Argentina those past years. So yeah, I think Argentina might have a chance to survive. And this guy, for those who don't know, his name is Laszlo Biros. He's from Hungarian descent, but people consider him as an Argentinian as well. Somebody knows who is this guy? No? This is the guy who invented the ballpoint pen. So the ballpoint pen was invented in Argentina and mass-produced in Argentina. Yeah. Biro, yeah. Ballpoint pen, yeah. So it's him. So now we're going to talk about, obviously, when we talk about Argentina, every country has its own stereotypes, and we're going to talk about the famous Argentine stereotype, which represents the people of the capital, which is Buenos Aires. So myself, since I lived in Argentina for 6 years, I can consider myself as a porteño, which is an inhabitant of the city of Buenos Aires, and it comes from the word in Spanish that means puerto, which port. So it means that basically everybody is an immigrant, because since they all came from the port, they're automatically considered as foreigners and immigrants. So yeah. So if you're a porteño, you're a resident of Buenos Aires. And unfortunately, they earned themselves quite a reputation in Latin America, which is a bit not the best, but yeah. And they're very well known for being show-off. They like to show off a lot. They're very cocky, which is it's a very Italian thing as well. They're very, very, very passionate at what they do, whether it's cuisine, whether it's sports, whether it's work. They're very, very, very passionate. They're dreamers. They like to dream a lot. They have a lot of visions. They have a lot of imagination. And they're also very hardworking people. So, and finally, also, they're arrogant. So that comes from Italy as well, I'll say. Not everybody, but yeah, it's a common trend that a lot of people say, you're from Argentina, you're arrogant. Okay, well. So what's the language that Argentines speak mostly? So the real term is called Castellano Rioplatense. This is the real name. So as you can see, the violet-purple region, this is the main regions of Argentina that this dialect is spoken. So, but in the world, this is known as the Argentine Spanish because it's the most popular. More than half of the country speaks this dialect. So in Argentina, if you go to Argentina, you don't say Español. No. You say Castellano. Castellano is basically the right term for, because in my opinion, there's no such thing as the language Spanish, since Spain has 4 or 5 languages. You have the Basque language, you have the Catalan language, you have the Galician language, you have, and basically this is the language of Castilla-Aragon. That's the province of where the modern Spanish was born. So they call it, for example, Uruguay and Argentina, they call it Castellano as well. Other countries just call it Español. This is the choice. And this is, the official language of the Porteños, and it is also known as the Argentine Spanish. And it is spoken within the Rio de la Plata region, which is the river that connects the Atlantic Ocean with the mainland. And it includes regions of Uruguay. So not only Argentina speaks it, but also Uruguay. So now we're going to talk about the history and influences of Argentine Spanish. So as I said before, a very, very massive immigration of immigrants from all over the world, Europe, Italy, Spain, Eastern Europe. And there's appearance of numerous European loanwords, and traces of Italian are still noticeable today in everyday words. Examples. Gamba, in Argentina, you can say gamba and it's considered being as a leg. So gamba, birra, in Italy it's beer. Lavoro comes from the word lavoro, which lavorare means to work. And even the verb laburar means tengo que laburar means I have to work, lavorare. And also influence of indigenous languages as well, not only European, you might be surprised, but also languages like Araucano, Quechua, and Guarani. Examples like tambo, which means dairy farm from Quechua, and the Araucano word laucha, which means mouse. Also, the most particular aspect of this dialect is that it's the intonation of this, it's the intonation. It was heavily influenced by the Neapolitan dialect, which is very known for being chanting. It is very romantic, so it's kind of like a wave. So when you hear Argentines speaking, it's like it's like they're singing. It's like they're chanting. So yeah, a lot of people describe the sound of Rio Platense Spanish as a Spanish spoken with a very Italian accent. So the Castellano Rio Platense, or the Argentine Spanish, is divided in four. It's divided into four linguistic features that is completely different from other dialects throughout South America and Spain. So the first one is the conjugation of the verbs and the term known as voceo. The second one is called cheísmo. The third is aspiration, and the fourth is the lunfardo, or the slang, which is very rich. So now we're going to start talking about the conjugation and the voceo. So first of all, in Argentina, they don't say tú, they say vos. And for example, in Brazil, same term has happened. They replaced tú by você, which is basically, in Brazilian Portuguese, the replacement of tú by você. The pronoun vosotros, as in Spain, is replaced by ustedes, as in many other countries in South America. Nobody uses vosotros, everybody uses ustedes. And the conjugation of the second person form in the present tense and the imperative also changes. So there's quite some changes in the conjugation of the verbs. So the stress in the present tense is on the last syllable of the verb in the second person of singular, so for vos. I'm going to give you an example. So in the classical peninsular Spanish, they would say tú hablas, but in Argentina, you would say vos hablas. So the accent goes on the stress goes on the last syllable. Also, for the imperative, you say dime tu nombre, and in Argentina, it's going to be decime tu nombre. So the present perfect, or as in Spanish, they say pretérito perfecto compuesto, is rarely used, and it's kind of disregarded, and the simple past replaces it. So instead of saying Juan no ha llegado todavía, you say Juan no llegó todavía. So it's a bit of the little differences. So as you can see now, the differences in the second singular person, tú amas, vos amás, and for example, vosotros amáis and ustedes aman. This is the two key differences between the dialects. So now this is cheísmo. Basically, this is what makes Argentine Spanish unique compared to other dialects. So the more so it means the better. So it's the feature known as cheísmo, and it's a key characteristic to the Rio Platense Spanish, in which makes the sound, the double L sound and the Y sound, and it is pronounced as a sh sound. So basically, if you're in a library and your neighbor is talking too loud, so you're like, shh, this is it. And basically, examples, so even sho, me, I, sho, cache, botella, amarillo, pocho, everything that has double L and Y becomes a sh. And people will be surprised, but it's heavily influenced again by the Neapolitan dialect. In Napolitano, in Napolitan dialect, the chi, che sounds often have the sh sounds. And I'm going to give you an example just to demonstrate what has happened. For example, in Italian, you say aspetta means wait, but in Napolitano, you would say uspet. So yeah, uspet, something like uspet. So yeah, as you can see, the same terms and the same, it repeats. So yeah, so it means that it comes from the Napolitan dialect. Also, the third key concept is aspiration. And for example, if you say something to somebody, instead of saying ¿cómo estás?, you would say ¿Cómo estás? So you aspirate the S, especially at the end of the syllable, and it turns to disappear. So also linguists think that it comes from Italian as well. And for examples like fresco becomes fresco, pasta becomes pasta, and basta becomes basta. So the S that disappears. So now I'm going to talk about lunfardo, which makes Argentine Spanish even more different than other dialects, because it's a very, very colorful and rich slang, around 6,000 words. That comes from, so I'm going to explain you what exactly is lunfardo. So lunfardo comes from the word lumbardo, and lumbardo means the inhabitants of the region of Lombardia. Basically, it's most of the Italian immigrants at the end of the 19th century, they came from northern Italy. So yeah, it comes from there. And it began as a prison slang, as a secret code between prisoners, so that guards and prisons won't understand them. Very smart. So how does it work? What's the way of how lunfardo was created? So it uses a verse form in which it reverses the syllable. So as I said before, 6,000 words. That's a lot. 6,000 words. It's a lot. So analogy, the same thing happened in French. For example, verlan, which comes from the word à l'envers. So for example, femme means meuf. So yeah, those things happen in other languages as well. And examples, tango becomes gotan. As you can see, the first and the second, the first and the second syllables are switched. Camunie becomes muñeca, which means doll. And even you can make phrases with that. So you can say, un café con leche would be un feca con chele. So it's just a very, as you can see, very, very creative way of making sentences. And yeah, this is the most Argentine phrase ever, which means che boludo, which has been labeled by other countries, other South American countries, like, I don't know, for example, Colombia. It's like, I always have a Colombian friend, he's like, che boludo, ¿qué haces? And it's kind of, yeah, so what's che and what's boludo? So basically, che is just an interjection as hey, or like hi or hello. It doesn't have a real meaning, but yeah, it's there. And it has been, Ernesto Che Guevara was called because of that, because he always used che. When he was a very famous Cuban revolutionary, and since he was born in Argentina, he got used to say that word che. So that's why they say him Che Guevara. It's not his real name. His name is Ernesto Guevara, but they call him Che Guevara. So yeah, and yeah, he was called Che because he used the word very often. And boludo, basically, boludo, it depends on the situation. Depends on the situation, because it can mean something as a jerk, but also it can mean something as dude. So it depends who you say, in what context are you using the word. For example, if I go to my friend, I say che boludo, yeah, it's no problem. But if you see a cop and you say che boludo, you're gonna have big problems. So yeah, it depends on the context as well. So it also can mean for a woman or a girl. So you can say che boluda as well. So now we're gonna watch a video, a very famous video of a movie, which basically shows you how Argentine Spanish is different from other dialects. We're gonna watch this video, and I'll show you why. You'll see why, and I'll stop as long as if. Every time you're going to recognize all those four main things. Can we turn the sound? Because the sound is a bit. Okay.
Comando táctico revolucionario, ordene compañero. Equivocado.
Yeah.
¿Qué? Nada de nada.
No sé, no lo encuentro yo. Este turro es como si supiese que íbamos a leer las cartas, porque no
He said show instead of yo.
sé, unos nombres, boludeces, nada concreto, no es. Mira. Quédate tranquila, vieja. En eso soy como Manfredini y no como Babastro. Gente de Chivilcoy.
A ver, dámelas, amigo. A ver, puta que- Banco de esperma, sección préstamos, buen día. No, acá prestamos esperma. ¿Te quiere dar o
Depósito,
recibir?
Sandoval.
Sí, no te he equivocado, ¿eh?
Sandoval.
Sandoval.
El doctor Fortuna necesita verlos, por favor.
Cuando yo le hablo, usted escucha mi voz, ¿cierto, Expósito?
Again, he said show instead of.
Sí, doctor.
Entonces tengo que suponer que si yo le digo algo y usted hace exactamente lo contrario, no es que no me oyó, sino que usted se caga en la orden que yo le di, ¿verdad, Expósito?
No, no es así, doctor.
Y si me llama mi colega de Chivilcoy, muy enojado para contarme que 2 empleados de mi juzgado asaltaron la casa de una pobre vieja, eso significa que lo que yo digo no vale una reverenda mierda.
No sé de dónde su colega pudo haber sacado semejante cosa.
Es lo mismo que le dije
He said mismo instead of mismo, as I said aspiration.
yo, Expósito. Pero fíjese que mi colega me cuenta que el otro día, en la ciudad de Chivilcoy, en la intersección de las calles Francisco Savello, esquina Esquiafino de la ciudad de Chivilcoy, estacionó un Peugeot de color negro con chapa de capital número 133.809. Y mi colega solicita a la Policía Federal que le averigüe los datos del auto. Y a que no adivina a nombre de quién está. Dígame, ¿de quién? De un tal Esposí.
No.
Y la Policía Federal le da sus datos laborales. Y el juez me llama a mí para ver si yo le puedo aclarar algo. Y la verdad, Expósito, que no puedo. Porque tal parece que yo no soy un juez, sino que soy un reverendo boludo. Porque yo digo que hagan A y acá hacen Z, ¿eh? Como esta máquina de mierda que me metieron.
Discúlpeme, doctor, pero... Me parece que acá está pasando algo extraño.
Exactamente. Espere. No se vaya, que ahora viene lo mejor. Después me puede seguir tomando de boludo todo el tiempo que quiera, pero ahora escúcheme. Porque lo que llamó la atención en el pueblo no fueron 2 tipos con pinta de porteños, no. O que uno de ellos aparentemente se atara los cordones de un par de mocasines. No. Lo que llamó la atención fue que uno de ellos entró al almacén del pueblo, saludó muy amablemente, pidió una botella de Old Smuggler y se la fue tomando del pico por la vereda. ¿Le doy la descripción del sujeto?
So how does it sound for you? Very, very Italian, huh? I guess the intonation and the way they speak, a lot of gestures as you can see in their hands. So yeah. So now we're gonna play a game. You're gonna try to find the meaning of certain slang words and vocabulary. So they all start from something that is very similar, easy, and then they go to completely something different. And yeah, let's see if you can guess them. So somebody knows what's frutisha? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Fresa. In Spanish, common Spanish is fresa. What's papa? Yeah. Adelante, está bien. Yeah. Potato, patata. What's the verb morfar? Okay, you're good, guys, yeah. Actually, yeah, it comes from the French argot, which means morfer, it means to eat. What's quilombo? Nobody? So quilombo means basically it's a very complicated situation, something that is a total mess. And it comes from an African word, from the Kimbundu language, which means quilombo, and quilombo was a settlement of free slaves in Brazil. Somehow, I just don't understand what's the correlation between settlements and just mess, but this is the word. What's pescar? No. We talked about lunfardo before. Remember switching syllables? Can you try to... No. To know, capisce. Do you understand? Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, car, pes, well, which kind of, yeah, it's a very like, what's bondi? Bus? Yeah, good one. What's chamuchar? Basically comes from, there are two words, the verb chamuchar and the noun that means chamuchero, which is attributed to a person. No? So basically chamuchar means to flirt with somebody. And also a chamuchero, which is basically the word that describes porteños, people from Buenos Aires. It's people who like to talk a lot. So they're going to try to invent as many stories as possible. They will tell you that, for example, Fiat is an Argentinian car, or that like Peugeot was invented in Argentina. Yeah, some kind of, a lot of BS, basically, but that's who they are. They try to convince you with some really stupidities. And what's chabón? Chabón, yeah. No one? Means dude. So you say che chabón, it's like, what's up, dude? What's pibe? I'm sure you know what's pibe. A boy, yeah, it's a kid. So it comes, yeah, it's a young man or a kid. What's garpar? Somebody knows garpar? Pagar, yeah. No, you got the idea. Pay. What's lorca? Calor, yeah. Hot weather. What's chuta? Somebody knows chuta? No? Chuta, it's the police officer in Argentina. Yeah. Cana? It's not a dog, no. Not from the word, but it's police. And from the Italian dialect, cane means the police baton, so it's a stick that police used to beat people, so yeah. So if there's an expression in Argentina that says me quedé en cana, it means I ended up being held by the police, arrested. What's chorro? No. Good try though, good try. Nobody? No. Thief. Robber. Chorro, yeah. Okay, this one is a hard one, but it's very funny, interesting. Do you know what's arbolito? It doesn't mean a small tree. It's not a small tree, but it has something. It has a meaning behind it. Basically, arbolito means because of the Argentine economical crisis, it was really hard to get foreign currency, especially dollars. So there's a lot of people who used to exchange that money using the black market and standing on the streets and just trying to convince you to buy dollars from them. And basically it is illegal currency because people stay like this the entire day, so it's basically they're staying like a tree. So yeah, it's a person. It's not even the person, I'll say it's more the system, how money works. So arbolito, yeah. And now with the word guita. Nobody? Yeah. Money. Gamba, leg, but also there's another word for gamba. 100 pesos. So una gamba, it's 100 pesos. Yeah. What's luca? Yeah, close. Luca, it's 1,000 pesos, 1,000 Argentine pesos. So we say 5 lucas, 3 lucas, 4 lucas. It's mango. It's not the fruit, not the company that is sponsoring this. It's 1 peso. So you say 5 mangos, it's basically 5 pesos. What's palo? It's not a stick, no. Palo, it's 1 million. And if you want to say palo verde, which means green stick, basically, literally translated, it means $1 million US. So you say un palo verde means 1 US. So in conclusion, as you can see, the Argentine dialect was really influenced by European and also native languages. It can best be described as a sponge, so it absorbed everything basically, Italian, Spanish, French, a lot of traditions, dialects, sayings, even techniques and methods. For example, lunfardo, the vocabulary was introduced from Italy, so it is Argentine Spanish is like a sponge, it absorbed everything. It is very, very different from other Spanish dialects and accents in South America. It's instantly recognizable by everybody. And it has a very unique intonation, as you saw in the video when the judge was speaking. He had this very, as I said before, it's nice to hear. It's like a pleasant, it's like he was singing. He's like, l'altro dia. It's like, sounds like Italian, no? Yeah, instantly recognizable by other Spanish speakers because of the sh sound. So, cache, pocho, botella, it's just, and a very rich vocabulary and slang. So I gave you like maybe 20, 30 just to have an idea, but if you actually want to see it, you can Google it and you will find there's 6,000 words of vocabulary. So, thank you so much, muchas gracias. So now it's time for questions. What? Yeah, but mate is also Brazilian, so Brazil, Uruguay, it's not only... Sorry? No, it is Argentina, but it's not just Argentina, it's also South American. It's Paraguay, Argentina. Yes, Diana? Yeah. Yeah. Well, usually those slang words are used between Argentinians, especially in Buenos Aires. But for example, if a Colombian or a Mexican or any other Latin American speaker goes to Argentina, they would try to make it more, friendly, so people can understand. Yeah. So that's how. But yeah, this is how it is. Basically, I mean, every country in South America has their own slang. Mexicans has their own slang. Colombia, every country has something different. But Argentina is just it's a whole another level. They have 6,000 words in vocabulary, which is very, very rich. So, yeah. Well, yeah. Usually. Lunfardo was actually first used in tango, and it's also called the language of tango, and eventually just dissipated and transformed, and now it's used just by regular people. But yeah, at the beginning, as I said, it was at the end of 19th century, it was a secret code. It's a way of secret communication that prisoners and used in prisons so that guards won't understand them. Yeah. Not really. Maybe because it's a slang. It's not really unless you're writing a novel about Argentina and two guys are meeting and talking like street slang. Maybe no, but yeah. That's how I learned Spanish in schools. Instead of tu, they always used vos. Oh, but the funny thing is. The southern region of Argentina and the region of Buenos Aires, that's what they use vos. If you go north, they don't use vos, they use tu. Because the language in the north is much more influenced by the Bolivian accent, Paraguay, Peru, so it's influenced more by there. So yeah, in the north they say, for example, tu, but in Buenos Aires, more close to the big cities, they say vos. Yeah. Yes. So, for example, just to tell you, for example, here in Quebec, in Canada, Italians sometimes are very, I'll say, not conservative, but they're a bit isolated sometimes. And especially like in my generation, people who have Italian descent, I usually go and I start speaking to them in English, and he says, "Oh, I'm Italian." But, he was born here in Canada, in Quebec, in Montreal. So basically, technically, he's Canadian. So he said, "No, I'm Italian." And I'm like, okay, so like, parla italiano come stai? And he's like, no, I don't speak Italian. So that's what happens. So in Argentina, for example, a lot of people have Italian family names. For example, the most famous name is Messi. He has an Italian family name. Doesn't make him Italian. And even people, when they say, I have Italian descent, I have Italian ancestors, but I'm not Italian, I'm Argentino, I'm Argentinian. So they're very proud. So basically what happened is that all those immigrants came in Argentina and they got transformed into something completely different than, for example, here in Canada. Obviously, the Italian language disappeared, but it has an impact in the language they speak. So it was kind of reborn in a way, like so. Yes, it was a native language before, but unfortunately, when the colonizers came, they wiped out all the Indians, which it's hard. I'll say maybe 2%, 3%, who would consider themselves as native, and as I said, maybe mostly in the north, close to the border between Bolivia and yes.
So the indigenous percentage in Argentina is much lower.
It's much more lower, yeah. It's much more lower. That's why they're so arrogant, because they think we're white in a way, like because we have more Europeans. Yeah, of course, because of that huge immigration that was, I said, 50% of the population has Italian descent. I mean, yeah, they're kind of, yeah. More questions? Don't be shy. Feel free to ask. Yeah.
What do Argentines think of other places in South America? Like, what are their perceptions?
We have 10 minutes. I'm gonna show you a video that I showed to my friends before. It's called Argentinian Intervention. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. Yeah, it explains everything. It's kind of a bit stereotypical, but it gives you a good idea. Well, Argentinians, they have a really high reputation of themselves, so they think they're on top of everybody. They think themselves as, we're number one, Argentina first, Yeah. Well,
it's gonna be here.
This is really funny. I didn't show it to you because I thought it a bit stereotypical, but I mean, since you asked.
He's here. Hello, Argentina. Can we talk to you for a little bit?
What is this? What's going on?
Just take a seat. We just want to talk to you for a second. This is an intervention. Do you have some time so we can talk to you?
Oh, no. We're not doing this. There is nothing wrong with Argentina, okay? Argentina is the best country in the world.
Well, that's exactly what we want to talk to you about. Venezuela, would you like to start?
Argentina. Mi pana. Over the years, we've spent some wonderful times together. We even gave you national treasure, Catherine Fulop.
Está buenísima esa vida.
I don't want to know.
But some of the things you say make it very hard for people from other countries to like you.
Name one thing I said.
Well, that time you said you Latinos and did not include yourself.
That makes sense. We are more European.
Oh, you're arrogant and you're obnoxious.
Oh, Brazil. You know what? You are just jealous because your meat sucks.
Vai se fuder, caralho.
Brazil, remember what we talked about?
Sorry.
It's okay.
¿Qué dijo?
We're all proud of our countries, but we don't make a big deal about it.
Ay, vamos, que mucho que tu joda, brother. I mean, Dominicans, you guys wear your flags to take a shower even. All right? And by the way, tango is much better than bachata.
Diablo, qué vaina. Tú estás pasado.
Okay, settle down. Let's all focus on Mexico for a little bit.
You are a great friend. You are very funny and you're incredibly artistic. But the first thing you told me when you found out I'm from Mexico was you guys have a lot of Indians, right? And then you said, we don't. We killed them all many years ago.
What I meant to say was that we killed all the native Argentinos.
That's not the problem.
You guys do the best cartoon translations in the world.
No.
When I hear Homer Simpson in English, por Dios, it's just not right.
That is the least thing we're known for?
Let's do a quick round of letters, okay? Colombia, we want to start?
Okay, so when I invited you to my mother's house
It's a very small house, I remember.
to have natilla and buñuelitos, not only did you drink all the aguardiente and say, esto tiene gusto a mierda, boludo, you proceeded to tell my mother that if she was in Argentina, she would be a 6.
But I meant that as a compliment. I mean, Argentina has the most beautiful women in the world.
Mujeres en Colombia y Venezuela son hermosas. No, pana, ¿sabes qué? ¿Sabes qué? No puede ser, okay? Argentina has the best women. Argentina has the best food. Argentina has the best air. I mean, I can't even have a conversation with you.
That's not true because we're also the best at conversations.
The last time Argentina beat Brazil in football, you sent me a photo of yourself taking a dump on Pelé's grave. Pelé's not even dead, man. You made a fake grave.
No te rías.
Look, I know that Pelé is not actually dead. You know, it was just my way of saying, ¿cómo se dice?
I don't know.
Oh, that you suck at soccer.
Oh, yeah. Cinco estrellas.
Yeah, coño! Look at us. We're better than this. Gracias a Dios we didn't invite Chile.
Wait, hold on. You were going to invite Chile?
I mean, it was on the table.
Oh, they probably want their own intervention, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Look at Uruguay, okay? Take a look at Uruguay's face, okay? All those years of treating him like a little brother have literally turned him into a baby.
Yeah, guys, Argentina considers Uruguay as a province. They don't say it's a country. It's like, oh, Argentina, it's like a little province of Argentina.
The little baby.
I get it. The pride I feel about being an Argentino sometimes can be taken for arrogance, and it can hurt people's feelings.
Yeah, exactly.
I promise that in the future, I will be more considerate when I remind you how Argentina is better than all of your countries. When I tell you how Argentina is the most awesome country in the world. Vamos, vamos, Argentina! Vamos a ganar! I'm doing it again, huh?
Yes.
So yeah, that's it. So yeah, I think if you have any more questions, but I think this video explains everything pretty much. Of course, guys, this is stereotypes, and not all Argentinians are like that, but yeah, this is how most of South America sees them. Yeah.
So here's Bill. I said you were there doing off and on. I think you're in Buenos Aires.
Yeah.
7 to 11 years old.
Yeah.
Pretty much like half your childhood.
Yeah.
You missed, like, do you want to go back?
No, I went twice when I was 13 and 15, and I haven't been there for a while, but yeah, it's fun.
But you want to go back?
Yeah, of course. Just not living, I mean, but I have a lot of friends there, obviously, some of my classmates, and yeah, it's fun to reconnect with people and share memories, of course.
So why do you want to live there?
Sorry?
Why do you want to live there?
Well, because my parents came in 1999, and Argentina suffered its biggest economical crisis in their history, and they're in debt, basically, and they owed $90 billion to the foreign bank, which is basically worse than Greece.
And they defaulted 5 times.
Yeah, they defaulted twice in 15 years, and yeah, so that's why my parents had trouble finding jobs, and yeah, basically that's why we're here in Canada. So it's basically an echo of what happened. Because my parents, at the beginning, when my parents came to Argentina, they liked it. It was good. They liked the people. They liked the culture, the language. But when you don't have a job and it's hard, it's not the best. Yeah. Yeah. No. Unique child, yeah. Yeah. No more questions? Okay, I guess that's a wrap. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for your support.